Right, Gary, thanks for speaking to us. Look, I guess we'll catch up on how the week's been building up to Huddersfield on Saturday.
Really good. Positive in terms of how they came about on Monday. How they've trained, their effort, their enthusiasm has been first class again, and really looking forward to going in playing at a fabulous stadium on a fabulous pitch and showing what we're capable of, because we have shown in games that we're not far off being a really good team. And everybody that we've played, even the Luton game here where the scoreline looks more, we had opportunities and we dominated possession last week. We had enough goal attempts, but we just need to be a little bit more clinical in that. But in terms of how they're going about it, and the fact that last week was the first time that team had played together, excited of the development that they can continue with them.
How do you keep reaffirming that message to such a young group?
One-on-one conversations, group conversations, putting demands on them, pushing them for more, getting them to invest in themselves. And next game now, it's time for them to come together and have another good go at it.
So when you look at the group at the moment, you spoke a lot about free agency last week.
Yeah.
Has there been any progress on
No, not really. Nothing really to report on that. We've not had anybody in or anything like that. And like I say, it's got to be the right opportunity for us, and it's got to fit with everything that we're about as well.
Are you still actively looking now?
I think you've always got to be aware of if there's somebody that's available, or potentially that they could come in and train, because at this stage now you've got to look at them in training if there is that possibility, and that's obviously something that we can keep doing.
Is it disappointing with the squad you've registered with the EFL, with the fact you're still open to free agencies, that you're at this point after all summer, I guess, to get bodies through the door that will keep you up in this division?
I think it's a reflection probably on the situation that we find ourselves in, and then also from the opportunity of experience a little bit, knowing that there's generally something out there. And I've spoke to a couple of free agents that are still, and we're middle of September, waiting for how can I best put it? Probably a better opportunity than Burton Albion is the most respectful way of putting it. Whether that's somebody in the Championship or the top half of League One, and that's up to them, isn't it? But we're now September the 18th, and they're not playing football, so they are the ones that are missing out.
You could make a case from the outside looking in that your squad's weaker coming out of this transfer window than it was when you ended last season.
It depends how you measure that. Like I say, a couple of years ago, there's no point looking back. It's gone. Last season's gone. I said it probably after the end of the season when we sat down and said that's gone. It's done. So we can't keep looking back and saying, oh, that. The squad that we've got, like I say, it's young, it's enthusiastic. They want to learn. They want to get better. And it's a case of now, like I say, after only playing together once last week, to having a right good go at it from now until January.
So do you feel like you've got enough this season to?
We've got what we've got, and we're going to go and work with them. And again, if you'd been sat in front of me January at the start of the season, in the middle of the season, and said Burrell would go to the Championship, you'd all have laughed at me. And so that just shows you how quickly the game can change, and what we've got to do is, like you say, is continue the work that they've shown this week in training.
How important is your experience in these situations where you are on a bit of a slump at the minute, looking for that winning trajectory? Yeah,
I mean that's it. It's sticking to what we know, and that's obviously working on the grass with them, showing them stuff in the video room, the way that they can improve, both individually, unit, and as a team, and embracing the challenge. It's not a challenge that at this stage of the season I'm used to, but you know, from a club point of view, it's something that we wanted to try and change, but the situation is we find ourselves where we find ourselves, and we can't feel sorry for ourselves. That's what we've also been saying to the players. It's down to us to change things. And the way that they've gone about it this week is, you know, gives you the confidence and the energy to go, right, yeah, well, we'll be all right.
I know we can't keep looking back, but just looking at the form you were in at the back end of last season, coming into this season, do you think there might need to be an adjustment of what to expect this season from this group of players and yourselves in League One?
Well, Beverly Knight sang it, didn't she? Shoulda, woulda, coulda. You know, it's quite easy to say, well, we should have got a point there, or we could have got a point there. It's gone, Dom. It's gone, and so our next focus is Huddersfield. And like you say, I can only be buoyed and energetic by how they come in on the Monday, how they train, and how they've been this week. And you know, that fills us with confidence going into, like I say, a very attractive game against a manager that will age me when I see him, because when I first started coaching at Derby under 17s, Mr. Lee Grant was a goalkeeper for the Derby under 19s, and so yeah, that'll certainly make me realise I'm getting older, mate.
You've done my research for me. I was trying to work out where your paths crossed.
Yeah.
At some point.
My first recollection of Lee Grant was pre-season. I'd just been given the Derby under 17s job by the great John Peacock, and we were at Moorways, Derby Moorways. I don't know if it's still there. I presume it's still there. The athletics track, the running track, and we took them to the running track. And historically, goalkeepers then back in the day were not the best of runners, but Granty lapped them. Well, I saw him the other week. I went to watch him against Peterborough because we were the weekend off, and he still looks a phenomenal athlete. For under 19, my first impressions were, wow, what a kid this is, because he was belting out 400s, 200s, and lapping outfield players, and you're thinking, oh, I feel sorry for the outfield players here. But he went on and had a wonderful career, obviously. And the standards that he'll have learned at all those clubs, top clubs, and then to have had the opportunity to, you know, coach. And I think I did my research. I think I've done over 420 games, 430 games, and he's done about 8, 9, and he's spent more in one window than I have over my whole career. So that was quite...
You're not bitter about it?
Not at all, not at all. So I'm going to see if he's got any spare change on Saturday.
Love it. Any injuries Saturday? Any returns?
Just trying to think what we have. No, the returns are going well. The returns are making progress, but nothing for Saturday. I think we will be as we were last week in terms of availability.
Cheers, Gary.
Just while on that subject, can you be specific about Terence? How's he doing?
Yeah, he's got an appointment tomorrow with the surgeon just to see how he's going with it, and we'll know a little bit more then. He's probably best asking me after the weekend.
Right, that doesn't necessarily mean that he might need the surgeon to open him up again.
No, we're just, like I say, it's just a case of monitoring to make sure it's all healing properly, and then if not, then obviously what the next stages would be if not.
Okay, fine, thanks. This is a bit of a loaded one.
Oh.
You talked at times about how you want to play.
Yes.
Can you specify in what ways we are managing to play as you want to play, and perhaps in what areas we're not managing it and need to improve?
Yeah, certainly. I think we're certainly having more of the ball this season than what we did last season. I think that's clear to see, and last Saturday being evidence of that. Areas for us to improve, and as a result of that, we haven't been probably as devastating on the counter-attack as what we were last season because of that. And then areas to improve is obviously we've got to create more chances and convert more chances. It's as simple as that from that point of view with the ball. And that means not just looking at your wing backs to get the crosses in. There's obviously our outside centre backs can join in and create overloads, and then there's obviously our midfielders can go and make those decisions as well. And then it's getting more bodies in the box, you know. for me at this moment in time, we've got to provide Bees and Tyrese and Fabio with more goal scoring opportunities. So that's something that we've certainly worked on this week as well. And then defensively, obviously, keeping the thing out of the net better.
Yes. Is that perhaps one or two players just being a touch more tentative than they might have been last season?
No, I think it's a completely, like you say, it's a completely new group for the fact that we all played together for the first time last Saturday. George Evans, Alex Hartridge, coming in and making their league debuts. And I suppose it's a reflection on the window, isn't it? The situation with the window. The fact that we're talking beginning of September and we're talking about your team playing their first game, yet we were 6 games in. It's just something that obviously over the course of the last couple of years we've had to get accustomed to.
Okay. That's good for me.
Gary, at the risk of asking you to repeat yourself, can you just go through how this week has gone in terms of training and?
Yeah, they've been very receptive again. They know where they can improve, and what we've got is a good group that want to improve themselves and invest in themselves. And you only do that by spending time in the classroom, video room, whatever you want to call it, and actual time on the grass. And it's a simple solution in terms of how you want to get better. Now, also on top of that, they need our support, they need our encouragement, and they've got that in abundance from the staff. And so, and from each other, to be fair to them. And we're just, like I say, looking forward to Saturday now.
Okay. Last season, we was lucky to get for them to get a last-minute equaliser.
One of my best points I've ever won.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we had to defend 17 corners. And we went down to 10 men for last 15, 20.
But that experience might help on Saturday.
Well, it just goes to show you what's possible. Anything's possible, isn't it? And that's the beauty of this game that we play. When we first came in December, people were questioning my sanity. People were asking me why I've gone into Burton, and with the group pulling all together and working very hard, we showed that anything is possible. And that's the same again on Saturday. We go to a team that's got spent a lot of money in the window, recruited some wonderful players, but we know what we've got as well, and we're going to go and have a good go at it.
Okay. What's your appraisal of the performance of the changes, the substitutes that you make so far this season?
In what way?
Do you think they've performed as you'd want them to substitute?
I think in some games they've made real good impacts. In some other games, there's been one or two games off the memory that haven't, but again, that's all part of the job, is to sort of have those conversations and say they're called impactors in my eyes. I think Mr. Arteta at Arsenal called them finishers this week, didn't he? Because he sees that's how they see the game going, and we talked about that last season. Starters and finishers, but for me, they're impactors. They've got to go and make an impact when they go on, and that's your way of sort of like forcing your way into the team, along obviously aside what you do on the training pitch.
Absolutely. We spoke just about that. There's nobody coming in at the moment. Is any of the younger players going out on loan, maybe? No,
we can't afford to at this moment in time. Like I say, with our numbers, I think. We only had a couple of knocks last week and 1 or 2 missed out, but that was us. I think there was only Taz missed out. Jack Newell had got a knock. So yeah, none of them will be going out at this moment in time.
The team spirit's still really good to see. Before the game last week, everybody's sort of,
They're a good group.
Yeah.
And let's get it right. We've played what? How many games?
6.
Come on then. It's not all doom and gloom. We're playing a lovely game of football.